depth of all the stories and the discussion that is slated for the day and for this bulletin, let's take a quick look at some of these headlines coming in, where we keep you up to date with all that's happening with the polls across the country. Now, as polling for the last phase of Lok Sabha polls begin, people have started queuing up at the polling booths to cast their vote. Prime Minister Modi is among the star candidates in the fray today, who is seeking a third consecutive term from Varanasi. Aam Aadmi Party MP Raghav Chaddha votes in Punjab's Lucknow. BJP National President JP Nadda votes in Himachal's Bilaspur. Uttar Pradesh's Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath casts his vote in Gorakhpur. Former diplomat and BJP candidate from Amritsar constituency Taranjit Singh Sandhu casts his vote. BJP candidate from Gorakhpur actor Ravi Kishan casts his vote at the polling booth. Former Indian cricketer and Aam Aadmi Party Rajya Sabha MP Harbhajan Singh votes in Punjab's Jalandhar. Samajwadi Party's Lok Sabha candidate from Ghazipur Afzal Ansari casts his vote as well. Uttar Pradesh Congress chief and candidate from the Varanasi seat, who's been fielded up against the Prime Minister, is seen offering prayers at the Shri Bada Ganesh Mandir in Varanasi. Well, let's dive right into some of the top stories of the day with regards to polls, as well as some other stories that we'll be focusing on. Very firstly, in a big revelation, OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, announced that it has disrupted a covert influence campaign originating from Israel. This campaign used OpenAI's models to generate pro-Congress and anti-BJP content, aiming to disrupt the ongoing Lok Sabha election process in India. Now, OpenAI disclosed that in May, the network used in AI models to produce large quantities of short comments which were posted across platforms like Telegram, Platform X, Instagram, and others. According to the report released by the company OpenAI on Thursday, an Israeli commercial company named Stoic was behind this operation, which was generating content related to the Gaza conflict, the Histadrut trade unions in Israel, and the Indian elections. Now, the operation, nicknamed Zero Zeno by OpenAI, is detailed in the company's report titled AI and Covert Influence Operations, Latest Trends. This report provides an unprecedented look into how AI is being used to manipulate, or rather, even if you could say, shape public opinion and political outcomes. The report also highlighted similar operations originating from China, Russia, and Iran. And in response to this, BJP Minister of State for Electronics and IT, Rajiv Chandrasekhar, called the findings a dangerous threat to our democracy on Platform X. Let's in fact look at what's been said by him in his post. He stated, and I quote him, "It is absolutely clear and obvious that the BJP was and is the target of influence operations, misinformation and foreign interference that is being done by and or on behalf of some Indian political parties, and this needs to be deeply scrutinized, investigated and exposed. OpenAI noted that the operation targeted audiences in Canada, the United States and Israel with content in English and Hebrew. In early May, it began even targeting Indian audiences with English language content. OpenAI successfully disrupted the activities focused on India's elections within 24 hours of its onset. The network generated comments that criticized the ruling BJP party and praised the opposition Congress party. OpenAI's investigations have also revealed, let's just take a look at what these investigations and probes have revealed, that while the actors behind these operations sought to leverage its models for content creation, the campaign did not significantly increase audience engagement or reach through their use of OpenAI's services. In fact, many accounts have been disabled by the companies Meta and X, so current engagement figures might not reflect the complete picture. Well, so this is the Operation Zero Zeno that was launched by the OpenAI company.
Powered by Sensodyne, associate sponsor Ultratech Cement and Vimal, Bolo Zuma Kesari.
Well, with that, let's now shift our focus to the biggest event of the day, which is the 7th and the final phase of voting for the Lok Sabha Elections 2024, which is now underway. People across 57 Lok Sabha constituencies are casting their vote across 8 states and Union Territory. Voting is underway in constituencies across states which include Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Odisha, West Bengal, Jharkhand and Chandigarh. In fact, as we name the states, let's also quickly take you through the number of seats that each of these states will be going for polls today. Bihar sees 8 out of their 40 seats. Himachal Pradesh has all 4 of their seats going for polls today. Jharkhand has 3 out of their 14 seats. The Odisha has 6 out of 21 seats. Punjab 13 out of 13, all 13 seats. Uttar Pradesh is 13 out of 80 constituencies, West Bengal 9 out of 42 seats and Chandigarh shall be a lone constituency going into poll. Now the key highlights include Prime Minister Modi seeking a 3rd consecutive term from his constituency of Varanasi. We will bring to you special coverage of the exit polls as well today, which is slated to take place later in the day, and we shall discuss all about the findings that's coming in from several of these exit poll analytics from 5 p.m. onwards. Now with that, we have an esteemed panel of guests who are joining us today on the broadcast to discuss the elections and several other stories in depth. We have with us senior journalist Ajit K. Jha, who will be joining us in a short while, but currently we're already being joined by author and consulting editor of the Hindustan Times, Sunita Aaron, and Suresh Kochatil, who is the political analyst, who's also joining us today. Well, a very good morning to all of you, and thank you for joining us on this fresh podcast today with regards to the final polling of the particular Lok Sabha polls that are underway. Now, before we just get into the discussion, there is another main focus that we also have today, which is the big revelation that we just brought to our viewers about the OpenAI company behind ChatGPT announcing that it has a disrupted covert influence campaign originating from Israel. This campaign, in fact, was using OpenAI's models to generate pro-Congress and anti-BJP content, aiming to disrupt the ongoing Lok Sabha election process in India. OpenAI disclosed that in May, the network used its AI models to produce large quantities of short comments, which were posted across platforms like Telegram, Platform X, and Instagram, and others. Well, with that now, let's cut across to our guests quickly. Firstly, I'll come to you, Ms. Aaron. A very good morning to you. If we could just begin the discussion over elections today with your opening remark on this particular covert mission, the Zeno mission of the company OpenAI, and the influence and the way it's shaped public opinion with regards to the political happenings that's unfolded in the country. Your first and opening remarks on that.
Okay. Look, we have seen, I think, since the last two elections, the use of technology, the use of social media in campaigning by various political parties. And here, what is disturbing is that they have tried to influence the voters by some propaganda. It's something which I think we have to be prepared for, because the more and more we are talking about artificial intelligence and more we are talking about ChatGPT. I think it's time that we start thinking about it, talking about it, because this is the first time that we are facing this situation. What to do, how to control it. I think this is a challenge for all of us, for the human beings in the coming years, and in every field, in every, you can say, sphere of our life, because this is going to be a very, very big. And every time you have a technology, there are some advantages and there are some flip sides also. So how far we are able to, because I see in every field that people are depending on all these services, using them. But yes, in elections where we are deciding our next government, it becomes a disturbing news.
In fact, with that, I will now move on to Mr. Kochetal. Mr. Kochetal, help us understand this. As Sunita was also mentioning about how this impacts the entire political scenario in the country currently. We've seen in the past as well technological, innovations and inventions having become an influence in the political arena, having played a big role in the political arena, be it the Pegasus. Even, in fact, only a few months ago, we had seen a concern being raised with regards to Apple users as well. And now we have an artificial intelligence company using this particular technology to influence the political happenings, the political undergoings in the country. With regards to the Lok Sabha polls of 2024, how much of an impact do you think such an artificial intelligence technology might have played and might have swayed or rather shaped the public opinion?
Well, let me give an example, because I'm extensively using social media. I have a following on social media, being a journalist myself. Over the last 1 month, whenever I open my Twitter account, all I see is anti-Modi posts. For the first 20 or 25 of them are only anti-Modi posts. And I always used to wonder, why is it happening that, my timeline is full of anti-Modi posts. But then I realized, because then a lot of people started writing to me, asking me, and if you go to my Facebook, you can see all the posts are followed by comments saying, Sureshji, why is this happening? Why are we seeing so many claims saying Congress is winning the election, Congress is doing that, BJP is going down? There is a consistent line of campaigning. It is not that one campaign is different from the other. All sound very similar. It is then I told my friends and others who were asking me this question, saying that there is a concerted campaign. Of course, one knows if you pay Twitter, they'll push your feed up and you'll get the number of views there. Same with Facebook. It works like that. So obviously there is no dispute regarding that, because that is legal. But remember Cambridge Analytica, Pegasus is different. Pegasus was more about a claim of snooping, which Supreme Court said never happened. Of course, only one gentleman, Mr. Gopal Krishnan, who is a journalist from Pioneer Chandigarh, submitted his phone. Rest of them did not even do it. So obviously the claim is kind of, not really serious. But Cambridge Analytica in the last elections, we remember very clearly, has said that they were working with Congress party to create a narrative. Something very similar. It is only that the Israeli company has offered its software. And that we know that it happened with the US election, when the US elections were tried to be interfered, and US said that it's Russia and China were behind the campaigns to disturb the US election. I mean, this is coming directly from Donald Trump himself
Right.
and his party members. So obviously there is always a concerted effect. Apart from that, yesterday, China's links have been taken down from Meta and other platforms which were targeting Indians and talking about Nijjar being killed and Indian agencies being involved. Again, from China. Imagine what has China got to do with anti-Punjab or anti-India comments on social media. Obviously, there is a narrative being built up that, look, Modi is responsible for this, Modi is responsible for that. And this is not surprising because in today's campaign, a lot of people rely on social media, especially I'm not talking of Facebook or Twitter because Twitter has only about 1% of India's population on it. Let us look at WhatsApp, a very simple medium like WhatsApp. You and me get hundreds of messages, videos, forwards every day.
Right.
I mean, most of us ignore it, but there are people who have time on hand who sit and watch these videos all day. And that is where the narrative gets up. After you start watching 5 or 10 videos, be it pro or anti-Modi, whatever it is, you tend to get influenced. You tend to believe what is being said. Like say in Hindi, 100 baat jhoot bolo to sach hone lagta hai. So this is exactly what it is. I mean, today's campaigns are all about building narratives. I was on another national channel day before yesterday where Mr. Modi's dhyan was being spoken about. And my logic was very clear. In Kanyakumari, there is no period of silence. Okay, it is only in those constituencies which are going to poll today, 57 of them. So what Mr. Modi does is his problem. Whether he sits on a Mount Rath or drinks from a glass of water or goes for a swim, that is his problem. Same with Rahul Gandhi. If he goes to Thailand, if he goes to Italy, that is his personal issues. But why bring that, saying that will influence the election? So that is where the entire Congress was scared, not because of Modi ji sitting on a Mount Rath or whatever dhyan. They were scared if this will get telecast. Remember, they were saying that it should not be telecast on national channels.
Right.
And that is where the worry comes in, because today media plays an extremely important part. News9's telecast might attract a few thousands or lakhs of people, but beyond it, if your video goes on to WhatsApp or other mediums, it keeps circulating for days on end. And that is where the influence is built up and a narrative is built up. And sooner or later, at least my guess is around 20 to 30% of the people start believing what is being said.
Absolutely. It tends to, as we were just saying, it tends to end up shaping the public opinion and swaying their opinion towards whichever side the particular technology is trying to sway them towards. Well, with that now, we'll slip into a short break, but we'll come back with our panel to discuss the election, the polls that are underway today, constituency by constituency, with regards to all the importance of the entire seats that are going for polls today, as well as the implications on the exit polls. What are the predictions that are coming ahead of the exit polls to be released later in the day today? With that, see you on the other side.
Brought to you by WeGod, co-powered by Sensodyne, associate sponsor Ultratech Cement, and Vimal, Bolo Zuma Kesari.
Healthy mind can reside only in a healthy body.
That is the only cure for the restless mind.
Happiness is a choice.
The fastest way to be happy is to make somebody else happy.
World premiere on 2nd June, only on News9 Live.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबां केसरी.
How do you fulfill that promise? Because ultimately expectations have to be met. If you look at the political landscape, is it really changing for women? And what is the inability of the forces that dead bodies surface but not the living people?
That ink is a semi-permanent dye called the indelible ink.
We are the sole manufacturer of this indelible ink.
Don't try to repair something which is working.
And if you have facial recognition, you can go vote in any booth anywhere based on where you are, and then it will be recorded that you can't vote anywhere else again.
Can we retire indelible ink and use biometrics? Theoretically, my answer would be yes.
This and more. Streaming on News9 plus news is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre.
In 5G, we have to stand with the world, and in 6G, we have to lead the world.
Winning a Grammy was an absolutely surreal experience.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी.
Brought to you by We God, co-powered by Sensodyne, associate sponsor Ultratech Cement, and Vimal, Bolo Zuba Kesari.
Welcome back. You're watching News9 Live, and we are here amid the 7th and the final phase of the Lok Sabha Elections 2024, which is now underway. People across 57 Lok Sabha constituencies are casting their vote across 8 states and union territories. Voting is underway in constituencies across Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Odisha, West Bengal, Jharkhand and Chandigarh. Well, with that now, let's cut across to our esteemed panel of guests who are joining us for this particular broadcast to understand the 7th phase from a better perspective. Mr. Jha, coming to you first. Very good morning to you and thank you for joining us on this broadcast. Very firstly, let's bring in one of the key constituencies today. We'll go to Punjab, we'll go to Himachal Pradesh, Bengal later, but one of the key constituencies is Varanasi, the Prime Minister's constituency, and the fight is between Ganga Maiya ke bete and Kashi ke Lala, Ajay Rai and the Prime Minister. We've seen the same play out in 2014, we've seen it play out in 2019. What are your predictions or analysis for the 2024 polls there?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is the most spectacular fight of this entire elections in many ways. And we saw Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the day of his nomination. He had put up, what I always say about Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the way he combines the symbolic and the spectacular. You saw the way these women wearing saffron robes were walking in front of that julus that he had started from BHU, from the statue of Madan Mohan Malviya, and the entire parade, and all the leaders of NDA had come on that particular day to Varanasi. Quite a sort of serious campaign, I would say. In fact, the entire international press and everyone was watching it. And Varanasi, provides that scenic, spectacular beauty of the Ganges from the boats, from where you can watch the entire thing. So, see, it's a serious fight, of course. One reason is because Ajay Rai, who claims that he lives in Varanasi, who doesn't kind of drop into Varanasi like the Prime Minister from the air, and that he fought a big battle for the people of Varanasi during the corona wave, and he has done a lot for the constituency. He is this time being supported by the Samajwadi Party as well as the Congress, right? So in that sense, he's more sort of bouncing around with fresh energy. But the BJP's slogan is "Ab ki baar 10 lakh par." Right? I think last time the constituency was won almost with about 6 lakh votes. And in 2014, we saw Arvind Kejriwal fighting the Prime Minister from there. If you remember how Arvind Kejriwal was having a tough time taking a dip in the holy Ganges. So this time around, the Bahujan Samaj Party has put up a candidate there, which might make it a little bit of a tripolar. But essentially, it is a clear-cut, straight win for Prime Minister Narendra Modi, not only in Varanasi, but it looks like that in this election, he's holding his ground. It looks like it's a referendum on Prime Minister Modi, not only in Varanasi, in the entire country. And, Varanasi is obviously interesting in many ways because it's the land of Shiva, right? Lord Shiva. So, Prime Minister Narendra Modi kind of not only campaigned in the name of Pran Pratishtha, but he has also he's a great spiritualist. We've seen him going to almost all the mandirs in Varanasi, revamping the place. I think the entire budget that was spent in the reconstruction of Varanasi, which is still going on, is something to the tune of, 30,000 crores. It's an extraordinarily high budget. And a lot of work has happened. I have been visiting Varanasi since I was young and even now. And you can see the whole city is completely redone. The Varanasi at one time, it's always been a spiritual city, but at one time it was quite a mess in many areas. I remember visiting Rajghat, where you have a beautiful campus, a Vasanta College for Women, where I used to go and give lectures. Even that area of Rajghat, on the way, it used to be quite messy. But if you go now, it's relatively much cleaner. It looks, it's modernizing. And yet at the same time, the lanes and bylanes of Varanasi, which contains its charms, is being maintained. And a lot of good work has happened. Of course, there are some people protesting that they have lost jobs and things of that sort. But Varanasi is a city which is going to become a global hub in terms of tourism, both Varanasi and Ayodhya. So, in fact, the number of tourists going to both these cities recently runs into almost, I think, 1 crore of the population, 90 lakhs that I heard last between cities. So it's Varanasi is on the move. It's becoming an ultra-modern city, given the fact that, once it was called a city which was older than tradition, older than the concept of culture itself. Yeah.
Absolutely, Mr. Jha. In fact, that's very well put for our viewers out there as well. The battle in Varanasi is indeed going to be an interesting one, just to see whether this is yet another record-breaking win for the Prime Minister, thumping victory for the BJP from there, up against the Congress's chief in Uttar Pradesh, which is Ajay Rai. With that now, thank you to all our guests for joining us, Mr. Jha, Ms. Aaron and Mr. Kochatil, for joining us on the special broadcast where we were decoding the elections, the 7th phase of polling, the final phase of polling for all our viewers out there. Well, with that...
Brought to you by We God, co-powered by Sensodyne, associate sponsor Ultratech Cement, and Vimal, Bolo Zuba Kesari.
Healthy mind can reside only in a healthy body.
That is the only cure for the restless mind.
Happiness is a choice.